Sorry for the transition. Hi guys, welcome. How are you? Look at this hairdo we got rocking today. How are you doing? I'm just gonna see so you can hear me. Yeah, you should be able to. Hi. Morning, afternoon, good day. How are you doing? Hi. Oh, I am tired today. Anyone more than me? Anyone else felt the full moon? Moving into the Scorpio. Hmm. How are you? Today, like I said, I'm tired, but I am happy. So I thought I would just like to be here with you and for us to enjoy this beautiful Friday. How are you out there in the world? Doing okay, Paga? Beautiful seeing you. Hi, Goatee. Tired but happy. How are you? I tried to reach you, Goatee, on Discord. You might check it out if you feel like it. You today? I'm gonna come a little bit closer to the camera. Just moving my keyboard out of the way. So, some beautiful healing energy readings. And just to hang out for a couple of hours this beautiful Friday. Hi, Torso. Amen. Yeah, you felt the full moon. I'm not much into, I don't know too much about the moon and astronomy in sense, but I have a friend who I spoke to just before lunch, before starting streaming, and she said that, yeah, did you feel the full moon? So I'm not too much into it, or I don't know too much about it, but it does explain how I felt yesterday. Having all these stress rashes coming up, and boy, we had a row in the system, and all of these things. But it's also beautiful. Jotoso, how are you? Can you hear the music? Is it too loud? Maybe I should bring it down somewhat. So yeah, for anyone who would like a transference, an energy reading, a healing. Yeah, by Steve. Hi, hello. How are you? You can put exclamation mark join. Oh, sorry, joy in chat, and you'll be putting Q if you feel like it, or we can just hang out and talk. The contest if your hair color is ginger or blonde. Really? Blonde? That's the first. It's ginger or brown, but blonde? That's the first. I like it. It depends on how much sun it has seen or how much sun has laid upon it. But I am ginger. And then sometimes in the winter it goes to look a bit more brownish. But blonde, Paga, that's a new one. I like it. What would you say? Maybe it can be every color, It's okay. No, I understand, Gertie. It's okay. Did you see that you got a private message? Queen, do I? Oh, I don't feel like it, but thank you. I am exhausted, but I'm very, very happy. So I thought having this little healing session together, and we can bring the healing in to all of us and everyone who wants to join, and also to me, and just enjoy this Friday together. I have many sculptures and figurines who wants to work with us today. I have some jewelry also who wants to work. My guides have said that there's someone who have a question and don't quite know how to ask. So if that is you, if you resonate with it, it might be that they're coming in later. But if that is you, feel free. This is a safe space. It is online, it is open, yes. But if you feel comfortable with it, I hope you can also feel it being. you for the compliment. Maybe it's this creates a crown, you know? Oh, I like that, Goji, that you did. You can answer then if you see that you got a message and you click where the message pops up, and then you can answer. I'm gonna open up a little channel to open up this beautiful healing room of ours today between us, and to open it up and welcome anyone feel they like to, and just spread the beautiful warmth. I'm doing this with fire, as I am who I am. So whoever feel you want to join, whoever you are, wherever you are, on your journey, welcome, studying, embracing, joyful, transparent room of you. Thank you, good update. Bon appetit. Thank you for the donation. Just bringing some laughter and extra joy to the stream. Yeah, you do. Thank you, my friends. Oh, I love that. Bon appetit. Thank you so much, my friend. It's a little bit of an internal joke, where, you know, when we get to meet, we have so much to thank technology for. And before I started this, you know how I was. I didn't quite understand computers, and it felt like I was not meant to live in this era. I know many can resonate with it. And then starting to work in this way, and I've spoken about this a lot before, but to open up and to see that you can actually reach people who might not otherwise feel safe enough, or especially now in this pandemic, being able to reach other people in a safe space where I hope to bring the joy for who you are, so that we can be just who we are in here, and also explore who we wants to be outwards. So for those who feel that they need to ask to not be alone in another way, I'm talking about people coming in and maybe acting a bit rude, because this does happen. I'm just asking you to be gentle and to be open also to them. If they say anything to any one of you in chat, they will have to be blocked. But they can say anything to me, because being lonely and feeling that we want to be a part of something is something that is so human, and we express this in different ways. Like I've said before, I don't believe in evil people. I don't believe in issues people. I don't believe in evil. I don't believe someone can be evil. There's evil actions. I don't believe in evil people. Hi, girl. Oh, she saw the candle and left. That's Dixie, one of our cats. Which era do I feel I resonate with? I'm very close to my past life, where I lived in Scotland and England. You heard the story of Mary of Scots. I strongly resonate with having been in that era, having been in that part of history. And it's so interesting because as you know, now you can ask me when they lived and all these things. And as you know, I don't keep anything in my head. I couldn't even remember the name of the person that was me in past life. This is how my brain works. I can go up and I can search for it, but I keep nothing in my head, as you know me. But I feel very well connected to that story, and I've spoken a lot about this before, how I always have this connection to England and to Carlisle and to having been, I thought I'd been working for a royalty in some way or form. I thought I was a jester, when jesters were just about to not be a profession anymore. But I didn't know where that was. I didn't know where I've lived. Or I know where I lived, but I didn't quite know the full story until I met someone, and I've shared this story before. I met someone who had been there too, and slowly by slowly, it just came together. So having been my past life, or just having a very similar experience to it, would be David Rizzio, of a friend of Mary of Scots. And there had been the story that he had, and the story that I had as a memory from that, or in the soul. I'm not sure it was me per se, but it was a fragment of my soul. I also believe it could be a fragment of my guide, but he's definitely there somewhere, and the pieces just came together, you know? You were a Spartan. Oh, right. You said England. I started to think of a situation with your twin being there, and if they're both related. Yeah. So the thing is, first, I always had this. I felt England, somewhere in England, being my home, and I couldn't explain it. I just wanted to go to England when I was little, and it was just I wanted to be a boy, and I wanted to live in England, and it wasn't just that I wanted it. It just felt like this is my home. And so I thought it was due to past life, because then I had all these experiences from past life, and I saw different images, and I got to meet people who just resonated in the soul fragment on the astral plane from being part of the same story. So I thought that it was just due to, when I then went to visit London, and when I was 15 and I finally got to go to England, and I went to London, and I felt familiar, you know, I knew my way around. It wasn't, sorry, the music is a little loud, maybe? Let me know. It wasn't as if I was coming home in London, but I knew my way around. It was familiar, a familiar space, a familiar experience, the smell, the people, the movement, and the general, you know, I found my way around. I knew my way around. And so I thought that was due to my past life, but having been many hundred years apart, it didn't really quite make sense to me. And so then when I collided with my twin, it made perfect sense, but it also is very bonded, because there's both the life with as Rizzio, and it's also the life right now with my twin. So it's all being part of the soul fragments. And once, and I thought I told you this also on stream, I've been talking about this, that I thought also that, because when I went to mediums, I just had to know, I had to know what other people could see about this connection with my telepathic twin. And they said, well, you have a bond, but it's not direct telepathy because there's someone between the two of you helping you channel the information. And so then I thought, oh, that might be Rizzio, that might be the soul of him. But then I met the guy that is helping me, so it was not him. But I have I'm still exploring, I'm still so curious as to what it can be. But yeah, everything just goes together in the end. And no matter how vast the universe is, and no matter how many lives we live, this is our life right now. So let's live it. I just think it's so important to talk about it. And it's so fascinating also with with my clients. Some people, it's very rare that I work with past lives, but in some cases, memories from past lives truly do, being past lives or not, whatever it is, those clusters truly do affect the individual here and now. And so by simply acknowledge those clusters of emotions, it could be that we think it to be past life in order for us to make sense of it. But then that's also fine. As long as we can get to meet it. And everyone, as with the same of finding belonging, we do it in our different ways. So being memories from past lives, from the soul fragment or no, if it makes sense to the individual to perceive it as being, and in that be able to connect to it and appreciate it, then it's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna read chat. Right. Your whole life you always wanted to be a Spartan. I know the feeling, Gertie. I felt I'd been a man who'd been playing the violin, who was a homosexual. I'm just saying that plain out. He was, in that time and era, that was very important because that was not quite acceptable. And he fell in love with someone he should not have fallen in love with, and that made it so that he lost his life. And I was so terrified I've always been so terrified of losing my life in this life due to being stabbed. And first, this was the part that didn't make any sense to me, because when I experienced the emotions from that life, or the memories that wanted to come through to me, I always thought that he was decapitated. But it didn't resonate within me. It was just, I thought, oh, it's during this time era, it should be decapitation, but it didn't make any sense to me. But I just thought that was probably what happened, but I knew why it happened. And we had this other story coming in that was so beautiful as well as tragic. But then it turned out that David Rizzio, he was stabbed 48 times, was it? And then they threw him out of the castle window. And I always been so terrified with being stabbed. So that makes more sense to me, and it all just comes together. For me, it's several eras, and I think most of them involve traveling, yeah? Because even as a child, I would feel comfortable exploring places I'd never been before, and I could easily know everything around. And I had an episode last year about going to Lisbon with my family, and I was so comfortable, and it was easier for me to find a place I was looking for. But for my family, we're all confused, kind of lost, and without any idea where to go. But for me, it was natural. Yeah, always been like that. Do you feel, Paga, that this is a common theme though? Because as I've talked to you before about you being so connected to nature and the fragrance of nature, I would also believe that you are traveling with astral traveler or with astral traveling, astral projection. So I feel you would find yourself around places because with your physical body because you already explored it with your astral body or your astral mind. I would say in your case, Paga. But then of course, some people some places resonate more with us than others. And it could be that we've been there before, or it can be that it associates to certain aspects inside of ourselves. It makes us think about certain things that maybe we subconsciously we connect the dots in a way for it to make sense to us. So no matter it being spiritual and being about past lives, or it being medical in your physical body, how your brain helps deal and heal and handle and understand all that is life and being alive. It doesn't really matter in the end, does it? It is interesting and it's beautiful to explore, but what is most important is that it makes you feel comfortable within yourself, and it doesn't really matter how we go about it in the end, as long as it is right and feel right to us. It's the same way with working with our different materials, like I said before. The same goes for how we channel the frequency of spaces, of places, of interactions, of relationships. And our brain is a wondrous, miraculous thing. It could be that we are just making it up in a way of us to make sense of it all. And that is beautiful, that is wonderful. Many people, when talking about wanting to find the truth and the only truth, I don't believe we have the capability to do so, because there is as many truths as there are individuals, and even more. The situation might differ, and we might see an aspect that we should recognize as being a truth. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the experience of ours, how we experience it, what it brings forth in us. Because in the end, no matter being a telepath or no, who we are is who is right here. And that, I think, is not a loss. It's not something that makes us feel, that makes it less beautiful. It makes it even more beautiful. And what I want to do, and I talk about this a